Hey guys, it's been a while. I'm actually not long back from New York, and although I didn't really vlog in the traditional sense of how I would normally vlog, but I did do loads of videos, and I kind of thought to myself, I'm going to put a wee video together because before anyone or before I went to New York, I was watching loads of videos on what to expect and that kind of thing. So I just thought I would share my experience with you guys, but doing it a wee bit differently. Got loads of wee video clips, going to run through what we've done per day. And again, if you're heading to New York or anything like that, then hopefully this helps you kind of what to expect. So we'll jump into it. So we actually were meant to be staying for like 4 nights. So our flight, it was actually on the Monday, and it was early hours on Monday morning to the point where we would arrive in New York in the afternoon. So we had the last half of the Monday, we had the full Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday, and then we had the first half of the Friday because we flew out in the evening. So effectively we had 5 kind of days in there, and we tried to squeeze in as much as we can. So we flew out from Edinburgh. So we flew with United Airlines, and to kind of review that flight, the flight was very good, it was comfortable, and we also had breakfast and snacks. Now, unless you're kind of toffee nose or whatever, I actually found these alright, and Ruth enjoyed them as well. So in terms of the flight, it was more than comfortable. The entertainment was actually really good. It was like their own kind of version of kind of Netflix, great selection of movies, and the flight flew in. I'm not a good flyer, but I had no problems with it. I was comfortable, entertainment was good, food was good, so the flight direct from Edinburgh was absolutely fine. Now the first kind of issue, and I didn't get any filming here, was when we got out of the airport. So we flew into Newark Airport, and we wanted to get a taxi to mid-Manhattan, and the first kind of alarm bells were the cost of the taxi was over $100. So again, if you're going there with any perceived notion that New York might be affordable, it's the first warning that you'll kind of hear from the theme of this, and when I do my conclusion at the end, that New York is very expensive, and I think it's listed as one of the most expensive places in the world right now. Reading that after it came back, but being there is your kind of first warning. Now we stayed at the Kixby Hotel. Now the Kixby Hotel is in mid-Manhattan, and we really liked the hotel. The room was a good size and comfortable, and to be honest, the kind of with the video you're looking here, the video does it no justice. I can't reiterate enough. The staff are really friendly. The room is bigger than what it looks here. The bed you could probably fit about 3 or 4 adults on. Shower was great, like just it had everything you kind of needed. So listen, from the bottom to the top, all the staff were absolutely amazing. They were really friendly, answered any questions we had, and we were made to feel very welcome. So can't recommend the Kixby Hotel enough. Now after we got checked in, we just kind of came out and went out for some food. Again, didn't get any footage here, but again it was like just we shared some food, and again I'll just have to say it, not really want to say where it was not like it's a big deal, but it was very expensive. That was the first alarm bell with a kind of couple of drinks and a couple of bits of food, and I'm not even just exaggerating here, we were talking about $70, and again it was kind of like, wow, this is going to be an expensive trip. But from that, for the last half of the day, we didn't do anything much. We kind of went exploring. We went and got our bearings. The Kixby Hotel is situated very, very handily, right in the middle. It's right next to Macy's, 5-10 minute walk for Times Square, and you're in a really, really good place. So we explored Times Square a wee bit, and in my opinion, Times Square was probably the only thing that I found quite overrated. Even to the point where I got to Times Square, I didn't know I was in Times Square because all I saw was like flashy billboards and just busy amounts of people. So it maybe just wasn't really my thing. I mean, it was quite cool to be there because of the place. Everybody knows about it, but Times Square just one of those places where I was kind of like, all right, Times Square's cool, and that was it. So for day one, again, it was a case of flying. We were exhausted, done a wee bit of exploring, and we just went back to the hotel and went to sleep and prepared ourselves for the next day because we were absolutely knackered, and it was a very early bed that night. So day two, what the plan was, and the plan got out of hand, was to go and see the Statue of Liberty. Now I just need to say that I watch a lot of YouTube videos on what you should and shouldn't do with going to New York for a visit, and one of the things that kind of popped up was the Statue of Liberty being overrated. Now I understand that maybe if you're from New York it might be overrated, right? But as someone who, again, we live in Scotland, and again you see everything in New York as like a wow, you know. You walk down the street and you see something you recognise because of every movie and stuff, and the Statue of Liberty is quite an iconic thing, so there was absolutely no way we were going to do that. So that was the first thing. Now we walked everywhere. I can't suggest enough, if you were going to get the best out of New York, to walk everywhere. Like we didn't get the subway, the only taxis we got were to and from the hotel. in the airport. I think when you're walking about, you just see so many things you recognise. Like if you watch a lot of movies or you watch a lot of things that are based in New York, you'll understand what I mean. But to get the best out of it, we walked down to the Statue of Liberty. So we walked down to, I think it's Battery Park. And that's where the ferry's located. So we walked down to there, and obviously you can't walk to the Statue of Liberty from where we were, so we got the ferry across. Now, when you're waiting to get on the ferry, you'll realise like it's heaving. It's so busy, to the point where we were thinking, are we all going to get on this? Like this seems like an extraordinary amount of people, but actually when you went on it, it wasn't actually that busy. But listen, the views from the ferry again, for anyone who thinks it's not worth it, were absolutely amazing, as you can kind of see here. The views of Manhattan are absolutely amazing, and it made for some really good photos. In fact, the photo from for this thumbnail was taken on that exact ferry as well. So again, just the ride I get kind of seasick and didn't feel anything like that, and I think it was just purely because I was occupied. I was too busy looking around me, getting all the video footage and just general excitement. So you can get the free ferry. I think the name of the one we got was the Statue of Liberty and the Ellis Island Tour. So our first stop was stopping off at the Statue of Liberty, which is in Liberty Island, I'm sure. And again, it's kind of what you expect. You get on that, it's again some good views. We walked around, we got some photos and some video footage of the Statue of Liberty. Again, it was just kind of such an iconic thing for everybody in the world that it just felt really quite surreal to be there. You hear me using that word probably a lot during this video. So it's something I would recommend. Like we got off, walked around, and then we had something to eat. Now you'll see with the food here, the food wasn't great. Again, kind of expensive. Again, the staff in the wee place didn't get any video footage of it. They were pleasant enough. They always kind of were pleasant enough in our general experience. But from there, we jump back on the ferry and then you go to Ellis Island. Now this is where you'll find the Immigration Museum. I mean, this was okay. The building's absolutely lovely, but it wasn't really mine and Ruth's thing. We kind of done it as part of the tour, and it was kind of cool experience. Go around and see a lot of things. The amount of history in that place is kind of crazy, but it's not really our thing. But again, it's something that we would generally suggest that you go and see. It was good, again, for some photos and video, that kind of thing, and it was a really, really good experience. We don't have any regrets to done it. But from that, we just travelled back on the ferry back to where we boarded the ferry, and then from there we decided we want to go exploring some more. So like we literally walked, I think, an insane amount of miles each day, no less if you were counting steps, like 30-odd thousand steps every single day without trying, without looking. And so we had the goal of then walking up to Little Italy, and on the way there again you'll just bump into things that you recognise, and you'll see this a lot. So when you get some footage here of like different things, it's just general things that you saw en route that I recognised. I'm like, oh look at that building, that's familiar, oh look at that, that's familiar. Upon arriving in Little Italy, it was pretty quiet. I mean, we were there quite early, midday-ish if I kind of recall, or afternoon at some point. So we kind of had a wee look around, nothing crazy, but we had heard about the kind of world famous cannoli king, so of course we're going to go in and try some of these world famous cannolis. Again, kind of expensive, but again, you were expecting that. So we went and tried them, like you can see here. I need to say these were like, I've not really had many cannolis to ever compare, but I need to say that these tasted absolutely phenomenal, quite scarily, especially the small chocolate ones. They were really so tasty. So if you're ever in Little Italy and you've never had a cannoli before, like please go in here and absolutely try them, because they are so good. So then from there we continued to explore, and we stumbled across the Harry Potter New York store. Now, as you probably saw with a wee bit of the footage earlier on, we're both Harry Potter fans. People were probably shocked by that or whatever. I think the store is somewhere that if you are a Harry Potter fan, you need to go and experience. It's got everything for sale. There's loads of familiar things that you'll recognise, of course, right away. You'll be dealing with a lot of screaming kids because maybe the mums and dads and stuff aren't going to buy them everything they want. So if you don't want your kids to go absolutely insane if they're big Harry Potter fans, please approach this place with caution, because your child will probably go insane wanting you to buy them every single thing that they'll possibly see. Now, Ruth and I went to the cafe, and at the cafe went and bought our first ever butterbeer. Now, I don't drink alcohol, so I was always confused to what a butterbeer was, but it didn't have alcohol. I saw kids drinking it, so I was like, we'll try this. And I can confirm, it was actually really good. I really enjoyed it. It just like I think that what you can see here, it tastes like a cup of syrup. So it was very sweet, very nice. We got a cookie. The cookie was okay. Like the one that you saw there, I probably wouldn't advise it. It was actually quite stale. and didn't really taste very nice. So if you kind of see that one, I would say opt for another one. So later on that evening, again, we walked back to the hotel, and later on that evening we went to a place for something to eat called the Black Tap. Now, the Black Tap's actually attached right next to. In fact, they've got a door joining right in at the Kixby Hotel, and we kind of knew before we went here that this place was kind of famous for its shakes, as you'll see in a wee second. So we had some food, again, nothing terribly exciting, tasted really, really good. And of course, we shared one of these shakes, and then like you can see here, we had like this Oreo shake, and it was pretty insane, and to the point where if you even by sharing it, and we saw everyone having a shake to themselves, but it was kind of at the point where if you have one of these shakes, you probably are going to develop diabetes probably there on the spot. So as tasty as this place was, again, approach it with caution. You're not exactly going to be eating it somewhere like this to try and eat healthily, you know. So after that, to kind of finish day 2 off, we actually went looking for a bar. I can't remember the name of it. It was a rooftop bar that was meant to be situated in Times Square somewhere. So we actually went back up to Times Square and we couldn't find it. So again, day 2 just came to an end there. We walked back to the hotel. We were absolutely exhausted by the amount we'd done that day, and then we just decided to call it a day and have an early night. And you'll probably find, if you do New York properly, if you do loads of exploring, that sleeping is not going to be something that you're going to find troublesome in any way, shape or form. So day 3, so I started off the day with a workout in the hotel's gym. Now, as you can see here, the gym was absolute shite, but again, like anything, you could use body weight, but I got a good workout regardless, and that just kind of set me up for the day. I never went too crazy going to gyms and all that kind of stuff. I just done one workout, and the amount of walking we did anyway, I think if I'd done any more than that one workout, it'd probably been overdoing it, if I'm being honest with you. But then we went to try one of New York's coffee shops, so we went to this place called Gregory's Coffee. I had a coffee, I had a cappuccino, and we shared a croissant, and again, just to review that, it was meh. It was okay, very average. I expected better. So not to shit on this place, but again, they were pretty busy at the time, and the coffee wasn't anything better than you would have got here, and the croissant just left a lot to be desired, shall we say. So from there, we done a wee bit more exploring. We ended up coming across the Grand Central Terminal. So we went in and we had a wee look, and we saw the world famous clock that everybody knows about. And we wandered around the market that's inside the terminal that, again, we didn't really know anything about. But again, nothing fancy. Again, it was just good to be at such a world-renowned place, if you want to put it that way, and kind of see it for your own eyes. So just another thing to go and experience. And like every single tourist there, everyone was taking photos, video and all that kind of stuff. And that's one thing you can't be shy about in New York, because even although it's a bit weird about doing it and people kind of seeing you do it and that kind of thing, like in New York you're the norm. Like everybody's videoing, everybody's taking pictures and all that kind of stuff, so you're not being weird by standing at the clock and getting a photo, because you'll probably be in a conga line of about 50 people trying to do so. We then had booked the Empire State Building, and Empire State Building is literally 1 block away from the Kixby Hotel. So the first time I actually saw it, we walked past it and I didn't even recognise it because it's that tall. You won't even recognise standing next to it unless you look up. But for me, this was an absolute must. So before we went to New York, I'd watched a lot of videos and stuff on what kind of observatory to kind of go to the top of and do the views, and everyone suggested to kind of against the Empire State Building because you want to see the Empire State Building, but it was the Empire State Building. I mean, how many films has it been in between, again, like your Spider-Mans or, for example, here, King Kong? There was absolutely no way that I wasn't not going to do the Empire State Building. And the Empire State Building, again, New York was full of highlights. I see the one whole thing as a massive highlight. But the Empire State Building, when you go up there, the views are absolutely spectacular. I'm absolutely petrified of heights, right? I'm absolutely petrified of heights. That didn't even kick in when I was at the top of that, because it was so surreal how high up you were. And I don't know why my brain wasn't computing it like that, but I didn't think I was going to be able to look over and that kind of thing. But it was no problem. And also we saw someone propose to someone else at the top of the Empire State Building, which kind of added to the experience a wee bit, but it's something that I would really, again, suggest to everybody that it was an absolutely amazing experience to be up there. It was so busy. That was the only thing, it was so busy, and actually coming back down took longer than going up. The lift up, as you can see here, was quite the experience. You got a wee video at the top of the lift. It kind of the fastest lifts on earth, by the way. But coming back down, it took a wee bit of time because it was so queued back. But from there, we went to another place for some food that is kind of world renowned. We've heard a lot about and had a lot of suggestions about going, which was a place called Liberty City Bagels. Now this place again was very busy. It was so busy, but they were so efficient that we weren't really waiting that long. They had such a good system going in there that if you're going in and it seems like it's queued out the door, I would say that it's worth waiting. I don't think you're going to be waiting that long. We didn't wait that long at all. Now I got the French toast bagel, and I think the filling was either the Italian combo, I think it was, and then Ruth got the rainbow bagel, as you can see here, and I think it was the bomb that she got. Now Ruth's endorsement here, she absolutely loved it. She thought it was really good, and to be honest with you, the bagel with this combo for me was my favourite thing that I had to eat in New York. It was absolutely worth it. It was so good. So again, if you haven't heard of Liberty City Bagels and you want to go and try it and you're unsure, I'm pretty sure they've got something that you're going to enjoy. So again, a massive endorsement. So again, in true to fashion, we ended up continuing exploring, and then we stumbled across M&M World. I think that's what it's called, but I don't know if it's just M&M store or whatever. I wasn't really paying attention, but yeah, a big massive M&M store. We didn't actually really go in and buy anything here. We just went in, again, just a typical touristy thing like everybody was doing, because I don't think I saw anybody buying anything. But we just went in and had a look around again, just to see what kind of things are on offer. And again, just what you would expect, different flavours, different things. But again, it was just one of those things, pop in the store, have a wee look around. But yeah, we didn't actually buy anything, so I can't really comment on if, oh, you must try this flavour or anything like that, because we didn't buy any. From there, we kind of decided that we were going to go to Central Park, but as we were heading up to Central Park, this was the only time in our trip away that the rain had started, which made it quite miserable. And when we got to Central Park and that, it was pretty empty. I think it's kind of seasonal that you're not allowed on the lawn and stuff. We kind of went in, experienced it, got some photos and stuff, walked around it a wee bit, but again, atmosphere wasn't great. The weather on camera doesn't look that bad, but it was pretty shit. So we didn't spend a lot of time there, unfortunately. So it's one of those ones I'd love to go back in the nicer weather and go and experience it again. But it's an iconic place, a very world-renowned place. And we never really got to experience that as much as we want to, so I can't really say very much. But yeah, I mean, it's massive. That's kind of why when the rain was that bad, we didn't decide to go, like, I think it's like 2 miles long at least. We didn't really go to the end or even halfway. We kind of walked around a wee bit and got a wee bit of a feel for the place. Then we just decided to call it a day because we were getting absolutely soaking. So we walked back. We were walking back towards the hotel again. We were just exploring. We came across some more recognisable places. And then we came across this Lego store, Lego World or whatever it might have been. Again, this place was full of people not buying Lego. It was full of people just in looking at the Lego store, looking at all the cool Lego statues and things like that. And it was quite a cool store. It really was. Again, if you're into that kind of thing, you just want to have a look around. Again, it was just quite cool to see some of the things that you saw, and we got some good photo opportunities in there, along with some of this video footage. And again, we didn't buy anything, just went in, had a look around, and then just continued on our way back to the hotel. But as we did, as you can imagine, like we didn't. The one thing about New York, we didn't really eat that much. I know that like what we ate might have been perhaps not great, but I think we came away from there like pretty hungry in the terms of we were that busy walking around and experiencing the place that we just didn't have time to eat. We didn't even think about it. So we actually stopped off at the Dollar Pizza, or the 99-cent pizza store, and it was the one in mid-Manhattan just next to the Kixby Hotel. And listen, I know some people are going to be absolutely raging here if you've been to New York, and they'll be like spitting at me and all that kind of stuff. But this was actually my favourite pizza that we had tried, and it was Ruth's as well. Now, it was just basic. This was the only place we went back to again, and we visited this again another time. I never filmed that. The first night I never filmed it either, but we went to, I think it was Joe's Pizza in Times Square. We had another pizza which I'll show you shortly, and we tried this Dollar Pizza, and by far and away, and I'm not being funny, the Dollar Pizza was our favourite. It just tasted better for whatever reason. I found Joe's very, 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 very salty and 4 times the cost. But listen, again, everybody's got their own favourites and that kind of thing, but I actually found the Dollar Pizza to be the tastiest. Cheap and cheerful, shall we say. I had also never been to a Dunkin' Donuts, so we decided on the way back there's Dunkin' Donuts everywhere in New York. So I went in and got 2 donuts, a glazed and a chocolate glazed donut, and like not a fan. Just was so stale. It might have just been the end of the batch or whatever, and I've got them on a bad day, but the Dunkin' Donuts were absolutely shit, if I'm being honest with you. If I'd ate the cardboard box that the donuts had came in, I'd probably have got the kind of same taste. So we finished the day, like I said, we hadn't really ate much. We went to this place called Andrew's NYC Diner, and we just shared the meal, again another pizza, and we shared the dessert as well. And the one thing I'll say about here, I didn't get his name, so I really apologise. The waiter who served us there was absolutely exceptional, like he really was. You know that way you just get folk that they do the job and they love the job, and they were just making the experience, even to the point when I was filming a wee bit for the food and stuff like that, he was so aware and he was standing back and all that kind of thing. But just his general manners, it didn't seem like it was forced or whatever. It just generally seemed like he was loving what he was doing, and his service was absolutely impeccable. So no doubt you'll ever see this. I don't know his name, which was a shame, but it was absolutely exceptional, and I couldn't recommend that place enough. But we finished there, headed back to the hotel, and again just went to bed. And there's none of this lying on your phone in bed, by the way. You were that tired from walking around, or we were that tired from walking around, that we literally passed out. But that was the end of day 3. So day 4. So on this day we went down to the 9/11 memorial, and that's quite the experience. And I didn't really film that much. I did take some pictures, but didn't take that much pictures. It just didn't feel like the place. I think this will be individual, because there were some people doing their whole selfie thing and all that, with the blowing kisses and doing the things that you're kind of like, right, okay, kind of not the time and place to be doing that kind of thing, but whatever. But yeah, like I never really filmed too much. It's kind of hard to imagine what went down there, to see what that would have been like. It's such a massive area, and to try and comprehend with the size of the buildings that what went on down there, it was quite the experience. We went into the museum, again didn't film much, but yeah, listen, like I didn't really get much here, and again it's something that you probably should experience. Kind of beautiful what they've done now, but it was just one of these places I just go and experience it. It's quite a surreal and quite an unusual feeling when you were there. To try and comprehend, like I said before, it's trying to comprehend what went down there. And there was a hint of sadness, different emotions when you're there, like just trying to comprehend, like seeing all these names and all that kind of thing. But yeah, something I think that you should experience. From there we walked straight across, and it's not too far a walk, but we wanted to walk across the Brooklyn Bridge and back. Again, this has got some great views, and I'll give you a wee tip here. When you go into a lot of the NYC stores, the gift stores, like they always have their magnets and stuff, and typically they're like $5 and stuff. But what I noticed after I'd left the bridge was that they actually do their magnets and things like that, like where you can get some of them for like $1 and stuff. So if you're going to get some magnets for some people back home, or just a wee souvenir or whatever, it's actually worth maybe looking at some of these stalls, because we did notice that they had a lot of the same stuff, but it looked like it was far cheaper than the actual stores. We did get magnets from a store, I think it might have been New York Memories. I think it's owned by a wee older Italian American kind of gentleman and his family. I could be wrong, so I apologise if I've got that wrong, I really do. But he was the loveliest guy ever, and to the point where I says to Ruth when we went in to buy some more stuff, I just want to spend more money in here, because this guy's so lovely and so nice and so complimentary and all that kind of thing, and it seemed authentic, which is something I kind of detected wasn't a real thing in New York for a lot of places that we experienced and stuff like that. So yeah, just to give that a wee bit of a shout out. But back to the Brooklyn Bridge, again, amazing views, you need to do it. The only thing I would say is it's so busy. A lot of people don't actually walk right across it, which we noticed a lot of people get to the first weekend, the square part, and then they turn round. So people kind of do halfway and turn back. But it's not that long, it's maybe about a mile or so long, I think, and a mile back. So we walked right over it into Brooklyn, and then walk straight back over. But again, it's one of those things when you go to New York, you kind of need to do it. And again, we loved it, even although it was quite cold and windy that day, we really enjoyed it. On the way back to the hotel from the Brooklyn Bridge, we were kind of doing some more exploring. We came across this other place called Bear Donuts. And again, we bought four donuts, and I don't even think we finished them. I don't know if we just went to the wrong places. Again, Dunkin' Donuts, I know, has got a different reputation for a lot of people. These ones weren't very nice, I'm just going to be honest with you. They kind, I don't know what it was, but they just felt kind of stale, if I want to put it that way. So not to shit on the place or anything like that kind of thing. Maybe we just got ones that weren't very good. Again, end of a batch, I don't know. But again, I just didn't really like the donuts that we got, and I don't think Ruth did either. Now later that evening, Ruth had been on at me, and I'd been told by everybody that you need to go and experience Ellen's Stardust Diner. This is a place on Broadway, and it's not a I don't know if it's classed as on Times Square, but it's not far from it anyway. Now if you go here, you need to be prepared a wee while to wait to get in. We waited about 45-50 minutes, but they do kind of come round the queue and ask how big your party is, and if they've got that amount of seating, they just take you in. So you might be waiting a bit sooner than that. But as far as I'm aware, you can't pre-book a table or anything like that. But this place was amazing. It was so worth it, and everybody who recommended it to me and all that, it was. People have been asking me what the highlight in New York was, and I can't really say that there's a highlight because the whole thing was a highlight for me. I absolutely loved the place. But in terms of this place, they had great singers, great song choice. It was the experience of it. It was just absolutely brilliant. We had an absolute ball. I mean, I don't take myself too seriously. I actually sang with one of the singers, which to the hilarity of someone who was sitting beside me. Never got that in film, mind you, but we just had such a good time. However, the food, as you can see here, the only way I can kind of put this across to you is if the waiter staff are the ones who sing, but it tasted like singers also made your food and it wasn't chefs. Now, it could be what we got. Now, I got something that you call the Duke, and Ruth got a BLT, and we also shared a bit of rainbow cake, which was meant to be famous. That was alright, but the food left a lot to be desired. It just wasn't very good. It really, really wasn't. However, again, let me reiterate to you, you need to go and experience this place. If you like any sort of music, you like going to shows and that kind of thing, I've actually know quite a few folk who preferred actually going to this diner than they actually did some of the Broadway shows and stuff like that. So again, Stardust Diner was a massive highlight. If we probably did have one highlight, I had such a good time. They're far better than what I would have thought. So again, like, if you're going to go there, just make a point of going to see this place. And after that, we just went back to the hotel. It was actually quite late this time, so we just went back again, as always, went to sleep, and the next day was when we were supposed to be going home. Now, day 5, the day we were going home, now the flight was a wee bit later, so we got up really early every single day. I think we were up around about 5:30, 6 AM all the time to try and make the most of every day that we had in New York. So we decided that we were going to go a wee bit more exploring. We walked down to the High Line. Now, the best way to explain this to somebody kind of watching this who doesn't know what High Line is, it's just like a walking route with some good views. You see some nice buildings and that kind of thing. The weather wasn't great. Again, it looks nice here, but it was really, 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 really windy, almost off-puttingly so. But again, it's something you should experience, something you probably need to do to get a wee bit more views in. Again, got some nice photos and things like that. So yeah, we went and done that, and it's about a mile or so walk as well. So again, the High Line is something I would suggest that people can go and do. And then from there, we just kind of started walking home, but we went a wee bit more exploring, and then we stumbled upon the Chelsea Market. Now, I didn't know what the Chelsea Market was, Ruth did, so we had to go in there, have a wee look around. We decided to stop off for some food. We decided to go here, which is, it's called the Friedman's or the Friedman's Lunch. Again, the food was really good, it tasted really good, the service was absolutely excellent again just very expensive. But I can't just keep saying that, because I'm going to be honest with you, I just think it's New York in general. I think it is New York in general. It was really expensive. Just for a general lunch, what you would have for a general lunch, you're going to be talking not a kicking ass off, is $60 a time. And again, just for 2 people who weren't drinking alcohol, just having what you saw there, with a coffee and a drink, it's kind of expensive. But it tasted really good. From there, again, we just decided to go back to the hotel, get all the stuff ready, get packed to leave. And on the way home, we stumbled across Madison Square Garden. Again, I thought this would have looked better than what it did, and I don't want to sound like one of those guys. Obviously, there's a lot of history here, but like things in like Glasgow, like the Hydro and that, look more impressive, in my opinion. But again, it's the history of these places. Like, these places are so iconic that this is what you'll find in New York, just walking around. Like I kept saying earlier on, it's just quite surreal how many things seem familiar. And from that was us. I never got any other footage, and we went to the airport. I could tell you a story about the taxi drivers, but I'm not gonna. They're absolutely insane drivers, to be honest with you. It's kind of true what they say about a New York taxi driver. And the taxi back cost me a lot more. So coming to the Kicks Bay was $100, and going from the Kicks Bay to the same place with the same thing, it was $130. So again, just brace yourself for if you're going to set aside money for travel in a taxi sense, that you're going to be paying a wee bit more than what I originally thought. So to kind of sum up the experience, New York was my bucket list place. It was a place more than any other place in the world I've always been dying to visit, like absolutely desperate to visit this place. And it was our actual honeymoon. We got married in September, and Ruth had kind of got us this as a present, and I absolutely love her for it, because it's one of those places I probably wouldn't have went to. I am shit feared of flying. The thought of being on a plane that length of time was scary, but I'm so glad I've done it. So if you're one of those ones sitting on the fence and you don't know if you're going to like New York because it's so busy and it's so packed or whatever, I had an absolutely phenomenal time. Also, there was also the safety aspects of it. A lot of people have been saying New York crime was on the rise, and we're reading all this before we went. Now, I'm a boy from Glasgow, like me, which I don't know if we are still the knife capital of the world. It's a bit weird when people tell you places are so dangerous and stuff, because when you tell someone you're from Glasgow, or just outside Glasgow or whatever, they think, oh my god, how are you alive? And it's a really weird thing that I noticed when you talk to people that are not from there, down south or whatever. But what I would just like to say about that is, in terms of New York, with Ruth and I, when we walked about morning, noon or night, not at any point did we ever feel unsafe. Now, I'm not going to say that New York's safe and we were into all the wee, maybe not so nicer areas and stuff like that, but anywhere we walked around, and when we noticed that there was a lot of, like, again, young women walking around themselves, and my conclusion was, well, they must feel safe enough to do this. So we didn't experience anything like that. We didn't at any point feel unsafe. I actually do feel more unsafe walking about Glasgow or Edinburgh at night than I did New York. That is my own experience. Like, you might feel differently, or someone watching this might say differently or whatever, but my own experience is the place felt safe. The place was amazing. There's so much to see. We probably only saw really from kind of mid-Manhattan down, if you had to draw a map, and we want to go back and probably go a wee bit more viewing all the things we didn't see. So yeah, like, again, I just wanted to put this video out there, again, for me to look back on with some of the memories, and for anybody else who might be going to New York, to kind of show you the amount of stuff that you potentially could do, and hopefully this video just caps it off for you, like, you need to go there, you need to go to New York. But listen, if you like this video, leave a wee comment, leave a like, subscribe, and again, we're going on holiday again. I think it's to a different part of Ibiza in June, so I'll make a vlog on that, and I do plan on getting more videos on the go on the channel very soon, because a lot of circumstances are going to change. But again, thanks for watching, and I'll see you all again soon.